Hey guys, I'm Patrick Mealey, and today I am going to be ranking for the first time ever my NFL team tier list. I've never done such a tier list before, it will be quite interesting to know that all 32 of the NFL teams should be having a quite tough list, but it is what it is. But this will be very interesting. It is going to be a very, very special preseason video. It is because the preseason is coming up. My Eagles are going to face the Ravens on Saturday in the preseason, in the first game of 2023, in the first preseason game of 2023, actually. And Mike and Gabe's Bills are facing the Indianapolis Colts in the first preseason game of 2023 on Saturday. Well, last time out, the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs, 38-35, and the Bills obviously lost to the Bengals on Chinese New Year on 27-10. Yet the Bills lost to the Bengals on Chinese New Year 27-10. Obviously, both teams did not win the Super Bowl this last season, but the Kansas City Chiefs, they're a deserved Super Bowl team. But this year, I am predicting which of the NFL tier lists will have to be. So, let's get started with my NFL team tier list for 2023-2024. And as you can see, the top one is Super Bowl favorites, and the lowest is number one pick contention. So we'll start from number one pick contention, and we'll go all the way to Super Bowl favorites. So, first I'm going to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they had a hell of a season last season. They came back from all the way down 27-0 against the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm thinking that the Jacksonville Jaguars should be having a season against. So I'm going to have potential wild cards for the Jacksonville Jaguars, because, obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars, they should be having quite a journey, I'm thinking the Jacksonville Jaguars should be having a hell of a season again. Okay, let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers nearly missed the playoffs for the first time in like a decade or something like that under Mike Tomlin, but I know the Steelers have a Kenny Pickett, but I'm thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers should be a playoff team like that, I'm thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm going to go with the Steelers as a playoff team, because sometimes Mike Tomlin could be on his way to a playoff game, I don't think they can win the Super Bowl, but they are confident to. All right, moving on to the Houston Texans. Houston Texans got C.J. Stroud. Yeah, C.J. Stroud, the newest quarterback in the NFL. Wow, okay. The Houston Texans had a very bad season, but, I believe Houston should have either a potential wild card or a missing playoff team, but, I'm just going to go with a potential wild card for the Houston Texans, because sometimes, it's very similar that the Houston Texans will have. I personally agree with C.J. Stroud, because with C.J. Stroud, I believe that the Houston Texans should be having a better season this season. Yeah, I know. I'm going to move on with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's my team. Go Eagles. My Eagles had a hell of a season with 14 wins in the regular season, and we came all the way to beat the Giants in the divisional round and the 49ers in the championship game, and we came to the Super Bowl in Arizona, which I was hoping for. That was a great season. That was a great season, But obviously they actually lost to the Chiefs 38-35, but don't matter. They still have a hell of a season, and I'm looking to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl again. I'm not kidding. I'm going to put the Eagles as Super Bowl favorites. I'm not even joking. Super Bowl favorites are the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not even joking, but, I would love to see that. I would love to see the Eagles win a Super Bowl again. That will be amazing. All right, moving on to the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears. Justin Fields, very, very confident that that Chicago is going to bring him to the playoffs. But you know, Chicago. You know, obviously, Chicago. Well, Justin Fields could bring Chicago back to the playoffs, which is a very good spot to be in. But, you know, I'm going to bring Chicago to the playoffs, you know, because Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears are very confident to go to the playoffs, but they haven't been to the playoffs since the Eagles won by 1 point over Chicago on the road. You know, they're a definite playoff team, you know. The Chicago Bears can't pick them out. Okay, moving on to Mike and Gabe's team, the Buffalo Bills. You know, the Bills obviously lost to the Bengals 27-10 on the Chinese New Year, which is a shame. You know, the Bills could have continued their perfect run, and they could have beaten the Chiefs if the AFC Championship game were to be held in Atlanta. But you know, I bet the Bills should go to the Super Bowl again. I really bet the Bills should go to the Super Bowl again. I'm not even joking. The Bills will go to the Super Bowl right here, you can see. With Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and Von Miller and the rest of the team, you know, Matt Milano, this team should definitely go to the Super Bowl again. I'm not even joking. If the Bills beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, then that would be amazing. Because last time the Bills and the Chiefs went to the AFC Championship game in 2020 and 2021, they got pummeled 38-24 in Kansas City. And now the Bills are looking to take oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that the Bills just lost to the Chiefs again a year later after a AFC Championship game loss. And this time it was in the AFC Divisional. And then a year later, they lost to the Bengals 27-10 on Chinese New Year. So, yeah, I bet the Bills will go to the Super Bowl this year in the 2023-24 season. I bet the Bills will go to the Super Bowl once and for all. I'm not even joking. Okay. So the Bills are going to the Super Bowl this year. So I can say it 100%. Okay. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are such not a bad team at all, but you know, I bet for some time ago, the Ravens were doing okay, but they used to be good in the previous times. But you know, I might say Lamar Jackson is okay, but you know, I'm thinking like Lamar Jackson is going to be, like, okay at the moment, but I personally agree with Lamar Jackson, you know. I'm going to bring them as a playoff team because the Ravens are always a playoff team, you know. And they're always, like, the superstitious team, like, not superstitious at all, but, like, I might be saying that the Baltimore Ravens should be having a season of their own, but, you know, the Bengals are going to be tough, you know. Okay, so moving on, we got the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers got Aaron Rodgers in the previous few seasons. You know, the Green Bay Packers. I believe the Green Bay Packers should be not be in the playoffs, but I'm just confident that the Green Bay Packers might miss the playoffs or might be a potential wild card, but I'm going to say missing playoff team for Green Bay because I just don't want to see the Packers in the playoffs. I'm not even joking. The Green Bay Packers, since they lost Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets, they seriously are not going to be in the playoffs, in my opinion. I'm not gonna be saying, but you know, it's gonna be a long journey ahead for the Green Bay Packers to win a Super Bowl, but we'll see. Okay, moving on to the Denver Broncos. They got Russell Wilson now. Last season, they had a horrible season in Russell Wilson's first season as a Denver Bronco. They got Sean Payton now as an addition to Green Bay's to Denver's pretty good offense or defense. But you know, Sean Payton should be leading the Denver Broncos to the playoffs, but I'm going to say as the potential wild card, to be fair, but, you know, as a potential wild card, Denver's going to go to the playoffs as a potential wild card. You know, because sometimes Denver, they're always in the hunt for the playoffs under Sean Payton, you know. You know, they should be on their way to the playoffs, and they should be improving some time ago. Okay, moving on to the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams, well, the Los Angeles Rams are an okay team, but they finished worse. They finished with a worse, like, 4-11 record, I think. After winning the Super Bowl the previous season before that, a 4-11 record is actually worse. But, you know, well, the Rams should be, like, doing the business that they can. But I'm going to put them as #1 pick contention because the Rams, I don't think they're going to the playoffs, but I'll be surprised if they do. But, you know, #1 pick contention, sadly, for the Rams. But I believe that the Rams, they are just, like, seriously in, like, not in a serious way, but the Rams, they should be #1 pick, obviously. Okay, moving on to the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks, well, they got Geno Smith, not bad, but, you know, at its best, you know, they got DK Metcalf. You know, the Seahawks are an okay team, but, you know, for Seattle, they actually went to the playoffs after the Packers lost to the Lions, but, you know, they should be having, like, they always go to the playoffs, but, well, sometimes go to the playoffs, but, you know, belatedly, they actually won the Super Bowl in 2014, but, I don't think they can win the Super Bowl, but, let's just say the Seahawks are going to be a missing playoff team, you know, because a missing playoff team will be interesting to watch. Well, sometimes, the Seahawks should be, like, watching on their own, but I'm thinking the Seahawks will be, missing the playoffs, but sometimes it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Okay, moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs had Patrick Mahomes on their back, you know, having won the Super Bowl last season, and, you know, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs will be the best football team in the future, but we'll see what happens, but, I think the Eagles are confident to beat the Chiefs in the future, but I'm going to add them as a Super Bowl favorite, you know, because, you know, the Chiefs will always be a Super Bowl favorite. Previously, the Patriots are a Super Bowl favorite, but now the Chiefs are. But believe it or not, it's going to be like either like the Chiefs or like something like that. But, you know, we'll see what happens when the Chiefs do good in 2020, 2023, and 2024. Okay, moving on to New Orleans Saints. All right, the New Orleans Saints, well, actually, New Orleans is not a good squad, not a good squad at all, but, you know, I might be saying, they lost Sean Payton to the Denver Broncos, you know, Sean Payton just led New Orleans to a Super Bowl in 2010, but, you know, I bet New Orleans can say that, that Jameis Winston, I believe, is the starting quarterback for New Orleans, but, you know, I'm going to add New Orleans as young but intriguing. Yeah, intriguing is what I said. But yeah, anyway. Young but intriguing because New Orleans should not be making the playoffs, but they are confident. They are confident too, but I believe that's the New Orleans Saints. You know, they're obviously in a good position though. Okay, moving on to the New York Giants. The New York Giants had a very good season last season. Wow. Well, I'm thinking that with Daniel Jones leading New York to the playoffs, you know, I believe I'm saying that New York having a time of their lives last season. You know, New York. Well, I believe that New York should be a potential wild card, so I'm going to go with that because New York. Well, despite being swept by my Eagles, who went on to get to #1 seed in the Super Bowl and a 14-win season and going to the Super Bowl, well, despite getting swept by the Eagles, who got the #1 seed and the 14-win season and a Super Bowl trip, you know, the New York Giants should be confident to win a Super Bowl like that. And this is the time that the Giants should be a potential wild card for that one. But, you know, it's going to be a hell of a season for New York. Well, I'm just saying that New York will be a potential wild card, to be fair. Okay, moving on to Dallas. Dallas had nothing but like a 12-win season, or 11-win or 12-win season. I can't remember, but Dallas is confident to be a Super Bowl contender, but I don't think they will because the Eagles are confident to beat Dallas like once or twice. But I don't think they can beat Dallas. I don't think the Eagles can beat Dallas, but we'll see what happens here. But I'm gonna add them as a Super Bowl contender, because Dallas is a complete Super Bowl contender, but they should be like they should be stronger than that. But I'm just confident to say that Dallas is like a playoff team. I'm obvious to say that Dallas should be like walking, but I'm thinking the Eagles should still make the Super Bowl from the NFC. Well, Okay, moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is like in the last few years was previously hardcore with Tom Brady leading them to the Super Bowl on home turf in 2021. Oh yeah, Tampa Bay. Now they lost Tom Brady because he retired. Well, obviously, I don't think the Buccaneers should be making the playoffs for that. I'm gonna put the #1 pick contention because with Baker Mayfield, with its sake, I don't think the Buccaneers should do anything in this season, but I feel very, very confident too. Okay, moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders are an interesting team because they got Jimmy Garoppolo now from the San Francisco 49ers. Obvious to say, the Raiders should definitely be Super Bowl contenders, But Jimmy Garoppolo and Devontae Adams, I'm thinking that the Raiders should be like a Super Bowl contending team because they're Super Bowl contenders because they got Jimmy Garoppolo, and I feel confident that the Raiders should be like doing something on their own. But Las Vegas, you're gonna have a Super Bowl if Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna do well. But yeah, okay. Moving on to the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings had a surprisingly good season. Despite losing to the Giants, they had a surprisingly good season with like 12 wins. Like that's incredible to see. Like NFC North champions. How about that? I believe they're a playoff team. So with Kirk Cousins in its sight, Greg Joseph, I believe, would send the Vikings to the playoffs in the NFC North title with the comeback from 33-0 against the Indianapolis Colts on December 17th last year. Well, they should be a playoff team, Well, for the Vikings, it's nothing but scold because, the Vikings should definitely be in the playoffs because they're doing okay. They're doing okay, to be honest. That's an obvious playoff team, They should be either going either way. But, all right, moving on to the Jets. The New York Jets. Okay, so the New York Jets, I think the New York Jets should be going to the playoffs because I feel confident that the New York Jets will be a playoff team because they have Aaron Rodgers now, and they also got like a Dalvin Cook or something like that. I can't remember anything of the Jets players like that, but, I should have them as a playoff team, because the Jets going to the playoffs will be insane, I'm thinking the Jets should go to the playoffs after 12 seasons, I bet the Jets will go to the playoffs. I bet the Jets will go to the playoffs. All right, moving on to the Arizona Cardinals. Ugh, man. Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are sleeping. Ugh. Like, they're absolutely one of the worst teams in the 2022 season, I don't think the Arizona Cardinals should be going to the playoffs. It's tough to say. I'm going to put them as the #1 pick contention because, I'm thinking Kyler Murray, after the 2023 season, should be moving to a different team because, like, Kyler Murray, I don't think anybody expects, Kyler Murray to go to the, Arizona Cardinals, but, they went to the playoffs twice, which is okay. Yeah, and I'm thinking the Arizona Cardinals should, be the #1 pick contention because, you know, Arizona, I'm thinking they should get out, I should bring out Kyler Murray after the 2023 season because, you know, Kyler Murray is, not doing good last season after making the playoffs in the last 2 seasons, but I feel confident too. I feel confident that, the Arizona Cardinals should be having one of the brightest times, in the future without Kyler Murray. I'm thinking Kyler Murray should move to a different team, you know? Okay, moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Ooh. The Cincinnati Bengals. Ooh. The Cincinnati Bengals had a hot team in the last 2 seasons, going to the Super Bowl, like in 2022, and then moving on to the AFC Championship again the year later. But, you know, the Bengals are confident to beat the Chiefs, 3 times, but only lost 1 to the Chiefs. That one is in the AFC Championship game last season. You know, after crushing the Bills on Chinese New Year 27-10, after crushing the Bills 27-10 on Chinese New Year, you know, the Bengals have a great chance of going to the Super Bowl. You know, after crushing the Bills 27-10 on Chinese New Year, you know, the Bengals have a good chance of going to the AFC Championship game. You know, it's tough to say. The Bengals are a good team, you know. I think they should be Super Bowl contenders because, you know, Cincinnati, they should be a Super Bowl contending team, you know, because for some reason, the Bengals will with Joe Burrow, you know, which led LSU to a national championship. I'm thinking that the Bengals should be winning I'm thinking that the Bengals should be winning a Super Bowl in the future, you know? Well, sometimes, you know, Cincinnati should be like a Super Bowl team in the future, like if either the Chiefs or the Bengals, you know, if either the Chiefs or the Bills did not make it to the Super Bowl. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, moving on to the Washington Commanders. So the Washington Commanders, not a bad season, but you know, they absolutely shocked. They absolutely shocked Dallas in the last week of the season. You know, I'm thinking that the Washington Commanders should be having not a bad season, but I'm just gonna put mediocre at best because you know, for Washington, you know, mediocre at best because I'm thinking that Washington should finish with an evenly good record, but I believe Washington should be like running like a bit, but we'll finish like a 7-10 or a 6-11, but we'll see. But now, moving on to the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco, they came so close to the Super Bowl after losing to my Eagles in the championship game. You know, it is pretty good to say that San Francisco have Brock Purdy now. You know, Brock Purdy, not a bad quarterback. I'm just gonna say a Super Bowl favorites. You know, obviously besides my Eagles, I'm thinking at such confidence, you know, as Super Bowl favorites, I'm going to say the San Francisco 49ers should be a Super Bowl team. Besides my Eagles, I'm saying that the San Francisco 49ers will be one of the hardcore teams in the NFL. But I'm going to say San Francisco. I bet they're going to the Super Bowl in the future if my Eagles don't make it, but we'll see. Okay, moving on to the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, yeah. Indianapolis Colts, man. I personally agree. You know, with the quarterback problems going on, I bet I'm going to say them as the #1 pick contention, you know, because the Colts are saying that that they should be #1 pick. I bet I'm going to say the Colts are #1 pick because previously they were good, but not anymore. But I'm saying that the Colts will be #1 pick because I'm just typically saying that that thanks to a quarterback problem, you know, I'm thinking it's Matt Ryan who's the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, but you know, yeah, I'm true to say that the Indianapolis Colts should be making their way to the #1 pick as one of the worst teams in the 2023 season. You know, I'm thinking the Indianapolis Colts should be climbing on their way to the top. But you know what? The Colts should be like the #1 pick because they're actually one of the last place teams, you know. Okay, moving on to the Tennessee Titans. You know, the Tennessee Titans surprised the NFL world in 2021-22 by being the #1 seed, and they absolutely got destroyed by the Bengals with the game-winning field goal. But I'm confident to say that the Titans should be a potential wild card. So, yeah, I'm gonna go for them as a potential wild card because you know, with Ryan Tannehill and the Titans doing sloppy last season after being the #1 seed a season before, I'm thinking that the Titans should be climbing their way back to the playoffs because I'm thinking that the Titans should be like a huge turnaround in the 2023 season. You know, I'm very confident to say that. Like, you know, I'm just having a hell of a time here to see the Titans blowing out against the Jaguars. All right, moving on to the New England Patriots. All right, the New England Patriots were dominant in the past 10 years, but they were a good team. But now they are just struggling a little bit. In Bill Belichick's final season, because he'll be retiring as head coach after the 2023 season, I believe. But New England should be like nothing but an idiotic. I'm not just kidding. Should be something like a good team, you know. But I'm gonna say like missing playoff team because I feel very response for the Patriots. You know, I'm not gonna lie. The Patriots are gonna miss the playoffs, but yeah, to be honest, to say that the Patriots should be missing the playoffs. Yeah, I believe so. Like an 8-9 record or a 9-8 record, but we'll see. Okay, moving on to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, they were a good team last season, making it to the playoffs for the first time since like 2000 or 2001. I'm not sure, but they're confident to go and make a statement for themselves. But I'm gonna say them as a Super Bowl contender because you know, besides the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals, you know, and the Raiders, the Dolphins have Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill. They should be a Super Bowl contender, but I don't think they can go to the Super Bowl because the Bills are a dominant side in the AFC East. But the Dolphins, I feel confident for them to go to a Super Bowl like that. But we'll see what happens. And I'm gonna say, and let's move on to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers are a very good team last season. You know, they just blew a 27-0 lead against the Jaguars. But I feel confident that the Chargers should be missing the playoffs after that. But I'm gonna say them as a missing playoff team. You know, the Chargers, they should be like running the experience so far, but I feel confident that the Chargers should miss the playoffs. You know, but to any Chargers fans, I still like you. Okay, moving on to the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers. Man, they got Bryce Young now. Bryce Young. I don't think anybody has expected Bryce Young to be the #1 pick, but you know what? I'm just going to put mediocre at best because, you know, for the Panthers, you know, I believe they're such a confident team, but I don't think they can go to the playoffs, but it's okay with me. Moving on to Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are facing the Kansas City Chiefs in the opener, but I'm thinking that the Detroit Lions, well, with Jared Goff, the Lions went so close to making the playoffs last season, but, you know, I'm going to say them as a potential wild card because the Detroit Lions, I believe with the Chiefs 100% chance of beating the Lions, you know, the Lions should be making the playoffs as a potential wild card, you know, because they are, like, one thing. The Lions should be, like, running the field as a playoff team, you know. We'll see. Okay, moving on to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons. Well, I don't think the Falcons should ever be a playoff team, but I feel confident that the Falcons should be, like, even with Marcus Mariota, who previously went to the Titans, the Falcons and Marcus Mariota, I believe that the Falcons should be, like dropping to the floor, but I bet I'm going to say them as young, but intriguing, because I felt very satisfied that that the Falcons might be able to work my predictions, but you know, it's up to me. It's up to me. All right, last but not least is the Cleveland Browns. You know, Cleveland Browns. Well, they're an okay team, but you know, the Cleveland Browns are just disimproving a little bit, but I'm saying that the Cleveland Browns should be running the destined force, but I'm going to say them as mediocre at best, you know, because, you know, I feel confident that the Cleveland Browns should not be making the playoffs, but it's up to me. But I feel very terrified about the Cleveland Browns in the last 3 seasons, but they actually made the playoffs in 2020 and 21 season, you know. But it's up to me to say that the Cleveland Browns should be, like, having a hell of a time, you know. The Cleveland Browns, I feel good, to be honest, for the Cleveland Browns, you know. Hey guys, I'm Patrick Mealey, and today I am going to be ranking for the first time ever my NFL team tier list. I've never done such a tier list before, so it will be quite interesting to know that all 32 of the NFL teams should be having a quite tough list, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, this will be very interesting. You know, it is gonna be a very, very special preseason video. You know, it is because the preseason is coming up. My Eagles are gonna face the Ravens on Saturday in the preseason, in the first game of 2023, in the first preseason game of 2023, actually. And Mike and Gabe's Bills are facing the Indianapolis Colts in the first preseason game of 2023 on Saturday. Well, last time out, the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs, 38-35, and the Bills obviously lost to the Bengals on Chinese New Year on 27-10. Yet the Bills lost to the Bengals on Chinese New Year 27-10. You know, obviously, both teams did not win the Super Bowl this last season, but you know, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're a deserved Super Bowl team. But this year, I am predicting which of the NFL tier lists will have to be. So, let's get started with my NFL team tier list for 2023-2024.